Let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. What a pleasant surprise. I see, let me turn this down a little bit. Let me get my levels right. What a pleasant surprise. I see we got a couple of viewers here. That's awesome. Welcome to the show. My name is Bill. This is KO Bets. You're here for the NFT giveaway. Just subscribe to the channel. You'll absolutely have a chance to win. I'm going to give one away upon hitting 100 subscribers. That's a goal of mine here this year. Once I do that, if you're subscribed, you'll always qualify for the NFT giveaways. I'm giving away UFC Strike Moments, Dapper Labs. They're kind of cool. I got a bunch of them, and it's just a nice way to give back to my supporters. So I appreciate you tuning in. There's not really any games I was betting on tonight. I was looking at some baseball games, but yeah, nothing really major or appealing that I want to get out of the way before we begin the MMA fights. So let's just get into the UFC fights we got for tomorrow night. I was adjusting my screen parameters just to make sure my web browser was fitting inside the window there. First fight of the night. Oh, here's another new thing I'm introducing. I used to, and I still have a ton of notes here, but like, I gotta make my screen bigger here. You can follow along with me. I used to like write out my notes, and I was literally transcribing. I don't know if you can see that real well. Like transcribing their records and like how they've won just from SureDog, just to have it in front of me so I could have that. And it's like, I got this beautiful iPad. Why don't I just use technology, save myself about 45 minutes of just transcribing information? So yeah, let's get into the UFC fight. Super excited to use my dandy iPad to assist me today. We'll see how it goes. All right. So we got Roman Dolidze taking on Kyle Daukaus in the first bout of the night. Go back to my notes. So Roman Dolidze is the underdog at plus 210. Kyle Daukaus is the favorite at minus 250. I am a fan of Kyle Daukaus. I think I like his style. I think he's pretty tough. We saw that. I mean, he looked good against. However, I know he had him, but he looked good against Kevin Holland. He looked like a good fighter. So I like Kyle Daukaus a lot. Roman, he brings. I mean, it's probably a difficult fight for Kyle Daukaus, because he is a good wrestler. So like the question is can Roman take down Kyle Daukaus and stay safe? I think Kyle Daukaus and his pace, the submission threat, I think it's just gonna wear on Roman the more this fight goes on. So I'm rolling with Kyle Daukaus. I don't know how I feel about the line. Minus 250. So I'm a fan of Kyle Daukaus, so I'll probably bet on him, but I mean, I don't know if he should be that favored. I think the submission is in play, especially versus a grappler and Roman. If we're looking at Roman's career, he's he is 3-1 in the UFC. Most of his fights have gone to a decision. Kyle Daukaus obviously has faced much stiffer competition. Brendan Allen, Kevin Holland, Phil Hawes. So, I mean, he's definitely fought the better competition. I'm rolling with Kyle Daukaus. As far as the over-under, Roman looks like his only loss was via decision. Kyle Daukaus, his only losses were decisions. I mean, Personally, I think that submission is in play for Kyle Dawkins, but if we want to improve his odds slightly, we could probably do it with like the submission decision result here at -165. Maybe there's something like an over 1.5 that I would like Kyle Dawkins, an over 1.5 -125. Just to get a comparison for my benefit. We're risking 10 to win 4. We're risking 10 to win 8. You know, that's not bad. I mean, if you're gonna do a parlay on either one of these fighters, I would just go money line. It does seem like it's gonna be a fight just because of that submission, in my opinion. If you like Roman, I'd love to know why you like Roman. I'm not entirely sold on him. So in the next fight, we've got Phil Hawes taking on Deron Winn. Phil Hawes, -260 favorite. Really nice competitor. His last fight, I believe he lost maybe to Chris Curtis. Yeah. And Chris Curtis, he's good. If we look at Chris Curtis's resume, Brendan Allen, he KO'd. Phil Hawes, he KO'd. I mean, he seems like a really nice fighter. But prior to the Chris Curtis fight, I mean, Phil Hawes was doing work in his own right. He beat Malkoun, Nasruddin Imavov, Kyle Dawkins. So obviously, very, very good as a fighter. If we're looking at the height discrepancy too in this fight, I mean, that's pretty drastic. I don't know. I mean, that's drastic. And the reach advantage, I think Phil Hawes with his wrestling is really gonna. I mean, he's -260 as a favorite. He kind of should be, in my opinion. He's definitely. I could even see his odds getting a little bit worse and lower. I really like Phil Hawes in this one. I think if I were to pick a winning method, it would be the decision, but they have the KO. If we're looking at his opponent, Deron Winn, wrestler, probably needs to wrestle in this and like be in top control, and then he probably also needs to, figure out a way to close the distance on the feet. I just think, Phil Hawes is just going to be a little bit too well-rounded for a fighter like Deron Winn. Obviously not super experienced either. You got to go with Phil Hawes, and you got to feel pretty confident on that. I'm definitely going to put Phil Hawes in a lot of parlays that I do. I just think he's one of the surest bets. I do like to see if the odds makers like the fight to go the distance. See, I mean, Deron Winn's only loss was a submission. Phil Hawes, he does have, I think, 2 wins via submission. Yeah. But, I mean, I think the smart thing for Phil Hawes to do is fight this one standing up, and I think the result of that could be a KO. But I think maybe there's some value on that decision there. So we'll see. I'll probably just go, what is the KO decision result? -225 instead of -260. I mean, there's a little bit of savings there. I don't think he's going to, grapple with Deron Winn. I just think that's silly to do. Maybe Phil Hawes and over, I kind of like. But honestly, probably just going to do the money line for parlay purposes. So, rolling with Phil Hawes. The next fight in the night, we've got Eddie Wineland taking on Cody Stamann. If we're looking at Eddie Wineland, He is a heavy underdog on this card. Cody Stamen's the biggest favorite. I think that's more like an indication of what we've seen out of Eddie up until this point. I mean, just a couple of bad knockout losses. Sean O'Malley, that one was bad. John Castaneda did have the win versus Grigory. I think if Cody Stamann, I think if he grapples in this fight, he should win very comfortably. I'm sure that's why the odds makers have him at minus 580. He is on a 3-fight losing streak of his own. I think if you like Eddie Wineland, like this fight is fought standing up somehow. But I mean, looking at Stamann's resume, it's pretty impressive too. I mean, he's been losing a lot of fights to good fighters, but Aljo lost to Aljamain, draw against Yadong Song, beat Brian Kelleher, and then is on this 3-fight losing streak. Jimmy Rivera, which isn't a great loss. It's not a great loss in my opinion. Merab and Saeed Nurmagomedov. Damn. Names are tough. I'll tell you what. Names are tough. But I like Cody Stamann. He kind of gives me the same vibes as the dude from the Boys. What's his name? The Boys. Homelander. Kind of gives me Homelander vibes. Maybe. I don't know. As far as the odds makers for this fight, yeah, like we said, they like Cody Stamann. I'm curious if they have it going the distance. They do. That's unfortunate. But I think that's probably an indication that Cody Stamann fought a good fight, took him down, probably 3 rounds, did it early. Yeah, so they like the Stamann decision. Or the DQ, or the KO, not DQ. Yeah, I mean, Eddie Wineland's been KO'd in the first round his last 2 fights. I think he gets out of the first round in this one, but it's tough. If I'm looking at anything, I'm just trying to think what I would do. Like, I kind of think this is going to go the distance, and I think Stamann will win it. So maybe like Stamann and over 1.5s, and that gives us a round and a half of leeway in case he does want to knock out Wineland, but I don't know. It's tough to say. I do also think if the fight, we'll see how Eddie wears the shots, but he hasn't worn punches good lately. And if we're looking at his last fight, that's the other thing. His activity level, he's been 1 fight a year for a while. Since 2016. That was his first multi-fight year, so I mean, he's definitely he's definitely got to keep this one standing, and I think you just gotta fade Eddie Wineland. There's no way he's winning that. The next fight of the night, we've got Maria Oliveira taking on Gloria De Paula. Gloria is the favorite at minus 265. Maria, the underdog, at plus 225. If we're looking at both of these fighters, I like Gloria De Paula, the favorite. She's only 6-4 professionally and 1-2 in the UFC, but she did win her last fight. displayed some pretty good Muay Thai ability. She's fighting against Maria Oliveira, who is definitely going to keep the fight standing as well, in my opinion. She lost to Tabitha Ritchie in her debut. Yeah, I just kind of think I like Gloria DePaula and her Muay Thai ability in this fight. I think she needs it. As long as the fight plays out on the feet, I think she's in an advantageous position. I don't see Maria taking her down, so for that reason, I like Gloria DePaula. We're looking at the odds makers. I'm sure on this one they like a decision. It's a given. It's gotta be. Yeah, minus 280. So, I mean, we are taking Gloria DePaula at minus 250, so that decision's not, awful as far as out of play. The decision, minus 115. Yeah, I don't know about that. I do think it is, Gloria is going to win a decision. Let's look at Maria's losses. 1 KO loss, 2 submission losses, 2 decision losses. Gloria DePaula 3-3 in decisions. Maria's 4-2. So if we do Gloria decision, we're getting plus 158 on that. Just do popular. Minus 108. Yeah, I don't know if I would put her in there at minus 250. Like Phil Hawes, I like Gloria a lot in this, but I don't know. I'm trying to be more risk averse in my parlays, Try and hit everything because that's what you need. Ricardo Ramos taking on Danny Chavez. Ricardo Ramos is the favorite at minus 285. Danny Chavez, the underdog, at plus 240. If we're looking at these two fighters, Ricardo Ramos, I think he's a Chicago guy. I'm pretty sure there's like a Ricardo Ramos gym, UFC gym in Aurora, Illinois, that I've driven past before. But he's heading into this fight on a 1-fight win streak. If we look at his career, he's been in the UFC for quite some time. As far as his style, he's well-rounded, I would say. Good kicker, good jiu-jitsu artist. Definitely has the takedown ability in his pocket. Danny Chavez, on the other hand, I think he's 2 fights into his UFC career. Let's check it out. And I think he just lost his last fight. Okay, no, he had a draw versus Kai Kamaka, then a loss to Jared Gordon, a win against TJ Brown. Yeah, I mean, I think Danny just needs to, he needs to be super aggressive. You can see the strike discrepancy between landed and absorbed. And I understand, Ramos has a deficiency there too, but we're talking about a full strike per minute. So, he's got to be aggressive. I don't think he can, sneak out a takedown in any round to beat Ricardo. I think if anyone's going to do that, we might see it from Ricardo. Yeah, like Ricardo Ramos a lot in this fight. If we're looking at the odds makers, I'm going to guess they do like it to go the distance. I think this is going to be a long card. What do we got? 13 fights? 14 fights. Yeah, I think this is going to be a long night. I do think the fight goes the distance. I do think Ricardo Ramos wins a decision. That's minus 105. And then, yeah, I mean, Ricardo Ramos, I'd rather take Ricardo Ramos than DePaula at minus 250. That's just my personal opinion. I think Ricardo Ramos, I think he's a difficult matchup for a guy like Danny Chavez. Chavez probably, we'd give him a boxing advantage, but not necessarily like an overall striking advantage. And then from an experience standpoint, like, you just gotta like Ricardo in this fight. The next fight we've got is Court McGee taking on Jeremiah Wells. Now, it is basically a pick'em, so the odds could sway, but this is probably the only underdog I'm going to take on the card, and that is Jeremiah Wells. He's currently minus 105. I just want to verify because it's been switching like crazy. He's plus 100 now, so Court McGee is the favorite at minus 120. Yeah, if you like, look, Court McGee has been in the UFC, in the promotion for a while. He's durable. He's a good fighter. He's tough. He's got crazy cardio. There's a lot of good things to like about Court McGee, especially against a relatively young fighter. If we're looking at Jeremiah Wells, I mean, he's 2 fights into his UFC career. So, I mean, this is a big test for him for sure. I think he passes it. I loved what I saw from him against Mike Mathetha, and you can say what you want about Mike Mathetha, but I feel like Tyson saying that name, Mike Tyson, but you can say what you want about Mike Mathetha, but the dude, his nickname's Blood Diamond. He was training with Israel Adesanya, former kickboxer, I believe, and you can say what you want about his, was he overhyped or whatever, sure, but I mean, the only reason we're saying that is because Jeremiah Wells put him away with a sleeper hold. So I thought he looked terrific against Mike. I think he's going to pass this test against Court McGee. He obviously can't gas out, but Jeremiah Wells, his grappling seems really, really good. I mean, we'll see. I'm interested to see. I think Court McGee is obviously, like I said, he's going to present a lot of challenges, but I'm going to roll with the underdog on this one. And if, Jeremiah Wells was the favorite, at minus 120, if it was flip-flopped, I'd probably still go with Jeremiah Wells, so I'm not too worried about the odds flipping. I'm sure they like it to go the distance, yeah. I think that's Court McGee's durability. His 10 losses, 9 decisions, 1 knockout loss. So is Jeremiah Wells with his power. He does have power, yeah, we'll give him that, but is he going to knock out Court McGee? It's going to be tough, but I do think his game's well-rounded enough. If he can control on the grappling side of the fight, like get a couple takedowns, get some control time, I think he could definitely beat Court McGee. But be careful who you're betting on. I think it's a really, really good matchup. And then I do like it to go the distance. So maybe that's like a safer bet opportunity, is the fight goes the distance or over 2.5. I mean, that's not bad odds for a pick-'em fight. You're sacrificing, I guess, a little. I mean, that's not ideal. Maybe that's not ideal. Maybe winning method. We could, like, do the double winning method. No. Okay, never mind. We're going with Jeremiah Wells, underdog, not worrying about the method of victory, but I think it's going to be a decision. Which, by the way, oops. Which is what? plus 300. That's nice. I might put a little juice on that. That seems interesting. Court McGee at plus 140. Is there any way, if you do 10 here, I mean, there's lots of stuff to hedge with that, so, and still walk away with money. That's not bad. Lots of ways to lose money, too, if someone gets knocked out. The next fight we've got is Jasmine Jasudavicius taking on Natalia Silva. Jasmine Jasudavicius is the favorite at minus 240 heading into this fight. Natalia De Silva is the underdog at plus 200. If we're looking at Jasmine, in her debut, she did fight against Kay Hansen, who's like 0-3 in her last 3 fights, but she looked good against her. You know, seems like a well-rounded fighter, can strike, grapple, has good pace, good output. You gotta like her size a little bit in this. You know, the reach is only 3 inches, but you gotta kind of like that size. I don't think... So Natalia Silva, on the other hand, she is a submission artist. Out of her 12 wins, 7 have been submissions, so you kind of figure she's gonna bring that jiu-jitsu approach, maybe try to close the distance, but I think Jasmine is able to fend off the takedown attempts of Natalia Silva, and if the fight... I also think she's strong enough as a grappler to just stay out of danger, and I think if you can, you know, mitigate that Silva submission risk, and, you know, you'll be fine. So I like Jasmine in this fight. She's at minus 240, we said. Yep, minus 240. I would say the fight would go the distance, but if we're looking at the two fighters, you know, Natalia has 2 submission losses and a KO loss. Jasmine, only a decision loss. Yeah, I mean, stylistically, against Kay Hansen, she was taking her down, but she didn't, like, look like she was threatening for any sort of submission. Has pretty good submission defense herself. I think this fight does go the distance. So if I'm to choose a fighter, I would say Jasmine decision plus 105, Jasmine moneyline minus 240. That's my pick. The next fight, I love Adrian Yanez. I mean, he is fun to watch. I was a little bit disappointed in his last fight, but it was against Davy Grant, who's a tough fighter. He's 4-0 in the UFC. Why was I disappointed against him against Davy Grant? I think his legs were maybe getting kicked up pretty bad, which we saw Davy Grant do in his last fight as well. I think that's what I saw. Like, Adrian Yanez, in my opinion, was just like searching for that, you know, that counter strike a little bit too much. That's just my opinion. But obviously possesses terrific KO power. Tony Kelly, on the other hand, his best chance of winning this fight is to grapple. Like, do not stand with Adrian Yanez. That's not a smart idea. Adrian Yanez is a heavy favorite at minus 285. Tony Kelly plus 240. I kind of like the I kind of like the KO for Adrian Yanez in this. I think if we're looking at Tony Kelly and his record, he's only 8-2. He did face Randy Costa and he KO'd him, and Randy Costa, he does obviously have, you know, KO ability, but he's a way different type of fighter than Adrian Yanez. So, like, maybe we'll see. I'm sure because Adrian's in this, they like it to end inside the distance. Yeah, just barely, but winning method, KO plus 130. Maybe there's some value on like Adrian. They don't have under 2.5. That's so rough. But they do have same game parlays. So we could take like Giannis and under. Can we do that? See? Plus 220 odds. Oh, wait, that's not what I wanted to do. And under 2.5. Can we do that? Plus 140. That's kind of nice, right? Plus 140. Can we add a KO? Plus 180. Wow. Might have to do a little bit on that, but it's still not terrific odds. You wish it was like plus 300 like that Wells decision. I don't know, is there any... Yeah, you could add strikes to it, but we're going under. Is that stupid? Oh, you can do over a half a round? So he's gonna... I don't know. Can we do like over a minute? Yeah? Over 2 minutes? 3 minutes? Yeah, you could do some fun stuff, I guess, but I like this one. Adrian Giannis, KO. Oh, we didn't. And highlight Adrian. Kind of like this one, plus 180. That's kind of creative. Something to think about. But I also like Adrian Giannis and like the idea of parlaying him with like Phil Hawes. Oh, come on. Phil Hawes. Adrian. Maybe Ricardo, but I like Phil Hawes and Adrian, I think, a little bit more for tomorrow. Yeah, that's who we'll stick with for now. Now we're on to the main card. We've got, hello to my two viewers. We've got Julian Marquez taking on Gregory Rodriguez. Julian Marquez is heading into this fight on a 2-fight win streak. He is the underdog against Gregory Rodriguez at plus 155. If we look at Gregory Rodriguez, he is the favorite heading into this fight at minus 180. Oops. Here we go. Gregory Rodriguez didn't have a great performance against Armen Petrosyan last fight, but he does appear to be a really good fighter, well-rounded, has jiu-jitsu, good striker, very technical. And then Julian Marquez, on the other hand, he seems more like he's going to be throwing some bombs in there and trying to knock out Gregory Rodriguez. So it'll be an interesting fight. I do like Gregory Rodriguez, the favorite, at minus 180. I just kind of like the reach. He does appear to be like a pretty imposing guy at his weight class as far as height, and I know it says listed here he's only an inch taller. We'll see. We'll see, but is a good striker. I think if Julian Marquez is going to win this fight, he's going to make it kind of dirty, maybe tire out Gregory Rodriguez and catch him with some really hard shots. I'm curious if the odds makers have this one go in the distance. I like Gregory Rodriguez. If they have this one go in the distance, where is it? Here it is. I'm gonna predict they don't. Yeah, minus 225. So maybe some value on it going the distance. If we're looking at both fighters, Julian, 0 losses inside the distance, 2 decision losses. And if we're looking at Gregory Rodriguez, he does have 2 knockout losses. And I mean, both guys do possess power to knock out their opponents. But I don't know. Something just says to me, like, I kind of like the, I kind of see like Gregory getting off his shots, and then at certain periods of the fight, maybe Julian Marquez pushes him against the fence, tries to make it dirty, maybe grapple a little bit, but Gregory Rodriguez ultimately is just landing his punches a little more effectively and able to stop the takedown. So I like Gregory Rodriguez. I mean, I don't know about making a prediction. I like the odds too at minus 180. I don't know about making a prediction as far as the winning method. They have the KO here at plus 225. I kind of like that decision at plus 330, but he does only have 2 decisions. 9 out of his 11 wins have come inside the distance, so maybe it's just better to avoid that and just take him on the money line. A little bit safer. Next fight, we've got a good one. We've got Damir Ismagulov taking on Garam Kudalahadze. I'm as long as you say it confident, it's right. Kudalahadze. That's what we have. Both are Muay Thai artists. Damir comes into this fight minus 175. Garan plus 150. I mean, there's a little bit of like allure in taking Garam because he does, I believe, train. Where does he train out of? Yeah, All Stars Training Center. So with Gustafsson, Hamzat, there's some appeal in that. Did beat a very good fighter in his debut. Who did? Mateus Gamrot. Yeah. But if we're looking at Damir, he's heading into this fight. The dude hasn't lost in ages. It's nuts. 2015. That was a unanimous decision loss. He only has 1 professional loss. That's 1, 2. And he's proven in the UFC. He's 4-0 in the UFC. He's fought some good competitors too. I would say Damir's going to be more of like the output point striker from a Muay Thai standpoint. More composed, maybe a little more technical. And then we've got Garam, on the other hand, who's going to be more like power focused. And I mean, I would trust that both of their grappling is pretty, sufficient to prevent the other, their opponent from holding them down. But yeah, I just think I like Damir's technicality a little bit better. Maybe the output versus points absorbed is obviously an appealing stat. Yeah, going with Damir Ismagulov in this one. I think Garam's best shot of winning this fight is to tag Damir early and often on the feet and just force his way, like cut off the distance, close that distance, and just I don't know how he's gonna win, to be honest. I like Damir in this one. It's a good fight. I think it's gonna be competitive. I kind of like a decision in this one. Let's see what the odds makers think. We'll roll with Damir. Damir Ismagulov is the pick. Here we go. Alright, so I'm going to guess they do like it to go the distance. Yeah, minus 185. We're looking at 1 submission loss for Garam. and 0 inside the distance losses for Demir. So yeah, I would say inside the the fight goes the distance is a pretty safe bet. So that probably means decisions are the favorite result for either fighter, plus 110. Yeah, I like Demir a lot. I would say whoever wins this fight is definitely someone to keep an eye on moving forward. And Demir's been impressive thus far, so if you haven't watched him, this is for sure a good fight to watch, I think. We've got Joaquin Buckley taking on Albert Duraev. Joaquin Buckley, he comes into this fight. He is I believe he's a pretty heavy underdog. Yeah, plus 200. Albert Duraev, minus 240. Looking at Joaquin Buckley's career, so far in the UFC, he's going for knockouts. 10 knockout victories out of 14 wins. So I think at the underdog odds, like maybe there's a little bit of value on that. We did see him wrestle a little bit in his last fight. He does have that ability in his back pocket against another striker. I just don't think he's going to have that against Albert Duraev. Albert Duraev, on the other hand, he should not stand with Joaquin Buckley. If he's standing with Joaquin, or if he's unable to secure takedowns and he just like gasses out, like that's not good for his game plan. But I think he can. I think he's the favorite because he can. He's going to figure out how to get Buckley down. Buckley, it's not like the power is not going to be any sort of surprise. We've seen the highlight versus Impa Kasangane, Jordan Wright, Antonio Arroyo. Like, he knocks people out. So, lower output too, I would say. So you gotta like Albert Duraev in this fight. And he's just gotta turn it into a grappling match and stay safe. And he should win a decision, in my opinion. So if we're looking at the odds makers, I mean, it's a tough fight, right? Because if Joaquin wins, like, it's gonna be inside the distance. If he loses, not winning method. So they like the Duraev submission. Joaquin, 0 submission losses in his career. And he is a strong dude, you know? You have to kind of figure he'll be able to keep himself safe, even if he's not as technical on the ground. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's value on the Duraev decision. Maybe there's a little, plus 330. Yeah, I mean, if Joaquin wins, that's how he's going to do it, is a knockout. So, like Albert Duraev a lot in this fight. Next fight, we've got Tim Means taking on Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland should win this fight for sure. Tim Means, in order to win, he's just got to grapple with Kevin Holland, right? That's the game plan you got to use against Kevin Holland. Really good fighter, talented striker. Took tough losses to Brunson and Vittori. Again, against Kyle Dawkins, you can, like, it was a head clash for sure, but like Kyle Dawkins was ready to throw down with Holland, and I don't know. Holland just didn't look as strong for sure. So if Tim Means can impose his kind of physical presence on Kevin Holland and dominate like a grappling match, he could absolutely win a decision. I don't think he's going to win a knockout, but he, in his own right, he is kind of more of a stand-up artist, I would say. He does have a little bit of the grappling experience, but yeah, I'm rolling with Kevin Holland in this fight. Plus new 295. I'm sure they like the knockout, so they're saying, yeah, I think if Tim Means wins, it goes the distance. I think if Holland wins, it doesn't. So if we're looking at winning methods, Holland KO, plus 200. maybe a little value on that considering where the odds are for decision, but Kevin Holland KO decision minus 225, a little bit of an improvement. There's no way he submits Tim Means, right? There's no way. So I like Kevin Holland in this one. Like Kevin Holland a lot. We'll just add him to our rolling list here. Don't place any parlays based on that quite yet. I think I would. It's all heavy favorites, but I think I would pull out Albert Duraev. I don't think Julian Marquez can beat Gregory Rodriguez, but we'll see. I'll go back and edit that a little bit. Donald Cerrone taking on Joe Lauzon. I picked Joe Lauzon when this fight was supposed to happen 6 weeks ago, but I'm rolling with Cowboy Cerrone this time. You got a couple of legends. Cowboy's on his bad losing streak. Joe Lauzon, he hasn't fought since 2019. I saw a video today where Joe Lauzon couldn't make the ceremonial weigh-in because he had cramps. So he weighed in on weight, but like he couldn't make the ceremonial weigh-in because he just was cramping up so bad. So I don't think that's a great indication for Joe Lauzon heading into this fight. Rolling with Donald Cerrone, who's just, let's be honest, he hasn't been good, but I'm sure they like this fight to go the distance, right? Oh, they don't. Man. The Cowboys' last ride. Yeah, like Cowboy Cerrone, winning method. I think there's probably value on the decision again. If we're looking at the recent fights, like there's only one fighter really getting knocked out, and that's Cowboy. Actually, Chris Grutzmacher, Clay Guida, both were able to KO, and they're more output guys for sure, I would say. But that's round 1 for Clay Guida, round 2 for Chris Grutzmacher. Oh, maybe Cowboy can dust him. I'm hesitant to say that, but maybe he can. I kind of find value in the decision. I like Cowboy's price on the money line a lot. Like anything less than 200, I kind of like. And then we've got the main event. Go ahead and if you want, leave in the comments who you think is going to win the main event. There is quite a bit of a odds discrepancy between Calvin Kattar and Josh Emmett. Kattar is minus 230. Josh Emmett plus 195. I mean, Josh Emmett, he's been fun to watch on this win streak here. Let's see who he's knocked out. Knocked out Mirsad Bektic. He knocked out Michael Johnson. That was a fun fight. He did get KO'd by Jeremy Stevens back in 2018. And then he had nice unanimous decision wins for Shane Burgos and Dan Ige. Sometimes you read stuff a little bit quicker than your brain processes it. And then on the flip side, Calvin Kattar just had the terrific performance against Giga Chikadze. His only losses in recent history are Max Holloway, Zabit. By the way, kind of interesting seeing Zabit retire, but says he wasn't feeling his normal self, so if it's for health reasons, good for him. Good for him to recognize it and walk away. Calvin Kattar, terrific technical boxer. Josh Emmett, trying to take your head off. I think Calvin Kattar's got this pretty comfortably. I think he wins. I mean, his performance against Giga was very impressive. If we're looking at Giga before that loss, like, no one in the UFC had beat him, right? Or come close to beating him. He was hurting everyone. And Kattar looked really, really good in that fight in technical. So I'm rolling with Calvin Kattar in this fight. The odds makers, I would guess, just because Kattar's the favorite, like, I would guess they like the decision, but Josh Emmett, I don't believe has been in any sort of championship 5-round fight before. They do like it to go the distance, okay? So they like the Kattar decision plus 130. Yeah, I mean, I really like Kattar in this fight. I think he's going to have better output. Boxer against boxer, I think he's the better boxer. I think Josh Emmett's obviously strong and he does knock people down, but maybe more of a counter striker too. But I think Calvin's got the tool to hypothetically. Oh, no, take all. I kind of want to see what this parlay pays out. 12-1. I wouldn't do that. That's a lot of fights to get. But maybe I'll start here with like money line, round robins, some sort of round robin sequence where, yeah, maybe I like doing this. That put total bet at $35, $70, $91 on round robins. That way you're just, if you get one of them wrong, two of them wrong, you're still probably getting even money, but you know, if you get 3 wrong, then you're in shit shape. You're probably losing. I don't know, what are your thoughts on round robins? I kind of like them. Sometimes, like, just for fun, especially when I'm just looking to place little bets on, like, sprinkle little MLB bets all over the place, like 10 games in a day, and I think I could pick more games right than wrong, but understand I'm going to go ahead and do a round robin and not a parlay. I don't know. That's just kind of my thought process behind it. Oh, so we got the NBA Finals. Warriors won. I think I want to give my thoughts on that. I think the Warriors were, like, first of all, Steph was just a joy to watch. I thought throughout the playoffs it was a lot of fun watching him play. It was a lot of fun watching the Celtics. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little frustrated because, like, I thought the Bucks were gonna beat them. I thought the Nets were gonna beat them, to be honest. I thought the Heat were gonna beat them, and then I thought the Warriors were gonna beat them. And it was so. I mean, big props to Boston. I think they're a really good team. I love what their coach did this year. What they did after the All-Star break, I think, was pretty impressive. If I'm looking at Boston and what they need to do to get over the hump, it's just like the primary ball handlers just got to be less turnover prone. I think that's all it comes down to. I think they have the talent to get back there next year. However, I do think it's going to be tough. I think the East for a while now is going to be like, I think we're going to see Milwaukee and the Sixers at the top of the East for a while. I just, like, as far as the seeding, I think Miami is interesting. Like, Kyle Lowry just didn't have a good year and doesn't appear to be a terrific signing, in my opinion. I think the Heat might have been, like, you got Tyler Hero heading into his 4th year. I think the Heat might have been a little bit better off having him on the court with Jimmy Butler and Bam. Then, I mean, and he did terrific in his 6-man role, but you just, like, and then you would have had cap space to potentially go after someone this offseason. It's just like the Heat are constantly, like, just pushing that. Ever since LeBron, it seems like they're just pushing that envelope, trying to get back to that stage. And I don't know. I'm a big Butler fan. I'm a big Bam fan. I like the shooting they have there and, like, the approach they have defensively, and they were 1 game away from the finals again this year, but I don't think they would have beat the Warriors. I don't think they would have. So, I don't know. I think it's Milwaukee, the Sixers, depending, I guess, on... I think the Nets are going to be electric if Ben Simmons plays on that team. I think he's, like, put him out there with an athletic 5 and then a shooter, and you've got just, like, an incredible starting 5. I think you're defensively sound. I think you're better on the boards. You're better defensively, like I said. So I'm excited to see what Ben Simmons like on that team if they choose to keep him. I don't understand why you wouldn't keep him, really, but we'll see what they decide to do. And then the Warriors on their side of the bracket, talking about the West. I mean, I'd love to see Dallas get a running mate for Luka. I think, you know, if you can convince the Jazz to give you Donovan Mitchell, I think that would be pretty incredible. You got to let Luka be the primary ball handler. Jalen Brunson was very good. I just don't know if, like, what Jalen Brunson's going to cost, it's worth bringing him back. You know, he gets a lot of usage and opportunity. And I think there's a lot of players that could produce when they get a lot of usage. But he was very efficient. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. But if you had the opportunity to bring in another volume scorer alongside Luka, their defense was outstanding. I think that's like what you got. You got to get you got to get like one more 20 plus point per game scorer who somehow figures out how to get 20 points along with Luka, right? But we've seen LeBron have teammates that do that. We've seen KD do it with Steph in Golden State. I mean, it's not unheard of. There's plenty of possessions. Bulls this year, DeMar, Zach. You know, there's plenty of possessions to have multiple 20-point scorers out on the floor. And then the Warriors, I don't know whose contracts are up this year, but it's just incredible. The blend of, like, veteran talent they have with young and upcoming talent. It seems like a great place to get drafted and play right now. And it might be for the next 10 years. It's just kind of crazy what they've built over there. And then we've got the US Open going on. US Open leaderboard. Let's check it out. I did place a small wager on my boy Justin Thomas to win. I think he was at +1. Yeah, +1. Didn't have a great round today, but is definitely within striking distance. Colin Morikawa is in the lead. We'll see if he holds on to that. I think Rory is obviously playing outstanding and is dangerous. John Rahm, big fan of his game. Scotty, great round today to get back in it from even par. Yeah, I mean, there's some shooters that. So I'll say this: Zalatoris, he's got putting issues. He's super young, right? If we're looking at his profile, he's super young and he's good. He is a good player, but he's just that putter. Whew, only 25. But yeah, that putter. If he's gonna be winning majors, he's got to fix that putter. So JT's within striking distance. I think Finau didn't finish well. Yeah, he got cut. Bummer. Like Tony. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm not gonna put any more money on it just because you get all these lead changes. Maybe there's some money on Rory at this stage. I don't know. He had that round last weekend where he shot a 62 and he missed 2 3-foot putts. That's crazy. Topics. Get into my favorite segment where I intentionally just ram myself into the topics of politics and world news, and you don't want to do that. So again, the last drive-in is trending. Maybe let's do a couple news articles, right? Because we've just got like baseball and I don't know. It's just been kind of bland, in my opinion. The trending topics. I don't know. Let's do news. Many recent fires at food processing plants were accidental, fire officials and fact checkers say. So there's like conspiracy theories going on about like I think 10,000 cattle just died yesterday or something. I don't know if it's I don't know, like I don't understand the commercial like fishing industry and farming industry and livestock industry, but I think it does need to get revamped significantly. I think if you look at like what I could do as an individual versus these companies, like I think that significantly improves our world health as far as like global warming and stuff like that. Like a couple of good documentaries to watch. Seaspiracy. Personally, that one made me just like give up on supporting the fishing industry. So I'll eat like fresh caught stuff, but I'm not trying to eat fish and support the industry. I used to love tuna, like tuna sandwiches, tuna salad sandwiches. I just stopped eating that just because it is kind of there's no way to police some of the things that they claim. And then as far as like a farming standpoint, you're just like plants have the ability to take carbon from the air and put it into the soil, and then if you're tilling your soil, you're just like knocking up carbon, which is obviously really bad. And then the conditions of like animal farms it's bad. You get like there's been a lot of instances this year where like some sort of sickness gets loose in like on a Tyson farm or something like that, and you're just like slaughtering hundreds of thousands of birds and like tens of thousands of cattle, and it's just absolutely crazy. Did you know there's like probably from where you're from, there is outside of Chicago here, there's like a family that what they do is they they do cows, and you can buy like a quarter cow, but they're like free range cows. And I kind of want to do it. It is a lot of beef. But I think that'd be kind of cool to do. And it's very, because you're buying like such a large quantity, it's a very good price. But I think there's definitely more sustainable ways we could figure out food here in America. Avaldi is working with private law firm to avoid releasing public records on school shooting. Who's Avaldi? Is this the Texas one? Sorry, I just want to make sure I got the right place. Uvalde. Yeah, it's Texas. Okay. It's funny how we gotta say like which mass shooting is it? Oh, it's the one in Texas. The city of Uvalde and its police department are working with private law firm to prevent the release of public records related to May 24th's mass shooting at Robb Elementary School, in which 19 children and 2 teachers were killed, according to the letter obtained this week by Vice News. So they want like public information, so they want body camera footage, photos, 911 calls, emails, text messages, and criminal records released. The dude drove like from 85 miles away or something to this grade school. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if like you should. I know what the like. I don't know if you necessarily should. I don't know. These are children who were killed and some adults as well, but I don't know about like why we are fascinated with this topic, and the idea of like just with mass shootings, and I mean it happens. I'm not against like people owning guns by any means. I think I'm for sure gonna get one at some point, but the reason I would get one is to like protect the house. I don't really know if I need one, to be honest, but like that's why I would get one, and it's because it's within my rights. But I feel super confident that I don't know. No, it's kind of like the best form of defense that I could think of if I'm like in a position to like have to defend myself or the people I live with, you know, is just like having a gun. Yeah, I understand you can call 911 or whatever, but I mean, you got that peace of mind and that also that peace. So, what was my thoughts on it? Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I don't know if it's great to release the record, like pictures of the shooting, or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's involving some of the videos taken from outside the school where like allegedly shots were going off inside. I don't know. I'm not like that into like watching like digesting every single piece of content I can around tragedy. Not everything. So great. Ukraine's moving closer to join. That means if they do, then Europe will be at war with Russia. I mean, the state of our economy is pretty bad right now. There's not really any way to, like, either the economy is going to slow down just to, you know, kind of prevent inflation from occurring anymore, or you got to print more money and inflation's going to run rampant and the economy can continue to grow in theory. So it's just like, I don't know, just a messed up spot to be in. I think we're likely, I don't know, it just seems like we're likely heading towards conflict. Elon Musk is a huge free speech advocate, but if you criticize him, you're fired. I don't know. If you work for this person, don't talk shit about him. How about that? Seems like I mean, it's within his right to fire you if you're just like actively going out and hurting his brand. Doesn't seem too crazy. Like if you're cool with getting paid by him, but you're not cool with working for him, go get a different job. He's helping you out. Galveston, the birthplace of Juneteenth, has been losing black residents for decades. Okay. The Jan 6th hearings. Oh, I think I talked about that last week. Oh, this looks funny. Texas man brandishes pool noodle to fend off emu in viral TikToks. That's hilarious. Can we find a TikTok video? He's mowing the lawn with the noodle. Can we get a video of this? See, this is the type of shit I'm trying to have on trending topics. They have two pet emus, Cosmo and Rocky, since they hatched 5 years ago. However, once the birds had their own babies, named Pebbles, a few months ago, Cosmo has become more protective and aggressive of his kin. They were our babies. We used to put sock diapers on them. They would run around inside. Oh. He's got him. Is he wearing them on his head? Kind of loud. Let me turn it down. I think it would be funnier with the music. Let's play it again. Oh, there they both are. Oh, Cosmo? Why is he wearing them on his head, though? Oh, yeah. Oh, there's the little baby. It's a big bird. Maybe this is what we should go on TikTok. You guys should send TikToks that watch those. That'll be better than. We'll just do that moving forward. You can send your favorite TikToks over to me, and I'll save them, and we'll pull those up. We'll try and do that next week. So if you want to go ahead, I'll put my Twitter in the chat if I can. I always have to look it up because I don't know my own handle. 1 second. At Bill Callahan 92. I'll go ahead and post some pics on there tomorrow. If you want to go ahead and see like the parlays that I'm gonna do. If you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to the channel. Share the channel with someone who you think might enjoy the content. We do this every Friday night live. For the providing there's a UFC fight the following weekend, but there's like there's maybe like 10 to 12 weekends where there's not a fight. We're doing this like every Friday. So if you enjoyed it, I appreciate you tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel. You'll qualify for the NFT contest, and then yeah, I'm gonna take off for the night. I gotta eat some food. It's almost 9 o'clock here Central Time. So have a great night, everyone. I will see you next Friday. Peace.